just to recap that breaking news that we brought you at the top of the show here, Manchester City completing the signing of 18-year-old Claudio Echeverri from River Plate. He will go back to River on loan until the end of this year, and he will join Manchester City then next January. So certainly one for the future, following in the footsteps of Julian Alvarez. That's the easy label, isn't it? He's going to be the next Alvarez. Can we expect that kind of impact from him?
You say that's the easy label. Obviously a big fan of Alvarez. I think obviously what we've seen and the trajectory that he's been on is incredible. What I've seen him dubbed as a lot more is the next Messi, and that's kind of the weight and the expectation on this player, particularly in Argentina. He's someone that I know it's going to be on ice a little bit now. Obviously, he's going back on loan until the end of the calendar year. I think City fans might have expected it to be the end of the season, but end of the calendar year, so link back up with City in January. But someone that they're already getting excited about. 5 goals in 7 appearances in Argentina's run to the quarter-final of the Under-17 World Cup. Scored a brilliant hat-trick against Brazil, and it is stunning to watch. There's side-by-sides of Messi's goal versus Brazil and Echeverri's, and they are so similar. He's someone that City fans are going to be buzzing about. Seen him called one of the biggest talents in Argentina, which at that age is incredible. He had been linked a little bit to Barcelona. He's Messi is his hero. He said he wants to play at Barcelona at some point. Xavi was asked about him and said that he was a real talent. Obviously, Barca not in the position to make any permanent signings at the moment. He's known to be a hard worker. He's really tenacious. And under what we spoke about earlier with what Pep does and how he brings through these young talents, particularly from the elite development squad into the first team, and regularly coming off the bench for City, I think he's someone who's going to fit in so well with what Pep has created at City, and one that, even though it's going to take a little bit of time before City fans see him playing in the light blue of City, in the flesh, I think he's one that they'll get very excited about. Now that transfer is confirmed, I mean, we've been talking about it for a long time, haven't we?
Yeah, lots to live up to for Echeverri before he permanently moves to Manchester City next year. We talked to Ben there as well about the latest on Calvin Phillips and his move to West Ham. Do we think that City have got enough in the tank without needing to replace Calvin Phillips? I mean, he's hardly played, so you would suggest maybe they do.
Exactly. They haven't used him since his arrival at the Etihad, and he's just been on the periphery ever since, sort of on the outside looking in with all their success. And when there's been injury problems, when there's been suspensions, when there's been bad form for certain players, which doesn't happen often at City, but when Pep has wanted to shake things up. I remember a game at the Emirates when young Rico Lewis came into central midfield. Calvin Phillips still couldn't get a game. So the writing's been on the wall for such a long time, and I think Manchester City fans will be absolutely comfortable with the fact that Calvin Phillips is going to be moving on. I don't think Manchester City fans for 1 second will be worried that they don't have enough depth. I don't think Pep Guardiola, more importantly, would be worried that they don't have enough depth. Manchester City are extremely astute about how they plan, what it is that they're doing in the market, when they're letting players go. And actually, it's been a surprise that Calvin Phillips hasn't gone sooner. Really, we thought that would happen during the summer. We saw them opt to go for Mateo Kovacic from Chelsea, obviously Mateus Nunes. They were going to get Paquetá. Everybody but Phillips was looking to play. So they've got more than enough to cope without Calvin Phillips. And Calvin Phillips knows this too. I don't think this is anything new. This is just the reality of the situation, and just highlights exactly why he needed to leave.